Hello mga alamat! In this video, pag-uusapan po natin ang mga requested stocks ninyo tulad ng SCC at DMC. Are you guys ready? Let's go! Alright, so magsimula po tayo sa DMCI or sa DMC. Now, tong DMC nung nag-X-date na, as expected, nagkaroon tayo ng sell-off. And that sell-off fell beneath yung level of support that we were discussing around 9.86. Now, after niya mag-gap down, trinay niyang lumaban pero the very next day, nagkaroon tayo ng bearish engulfing. Now, typically, hindi ko naman binibigyan ng gaanong weight yung ganitong mga bearish engulfing candles, lalo na kapag pababa na rin. Kumbaga, nasa baba na ano pa bang ibababa, di ba? But in this particular instance, what I see when I observe something like this is price was trying to push higher, maybe coming back to this level of support here kasi nag-bounce tayo dyan before, or perhaps even trying to fill this gap pero so far hindi kinaya. And then we push lower. So given all of that, ano yung mga projected scenarios natin dito sa DMCI? Number one, maybe it comes back down and tags yung level of support at 9.3. If that doesn't hold, the next level of support that we're watching out for will be around 8.97 or let's say mga 9 pesos na area. Okay? If we break further than that, then we might come back and revisit tong mga lows na naiwan natin from before. However, if we can come back and start trading above tong 9.86 na level, then baka nga kayang punuin tong gap na to. Tapos, once that gap is filled, kailangan natin obserbahan. Kung nag-fill and reject, okay, then likely scenario is we see further downside or at the very least, baka magpatuloy lang tong range na to where it is right now. Somewhere between 9.3 hanggang mga 10.74. It's a wide range pero may nag-iba kasi sa dynamic, so hindi pa natin sure kung ma-maintain ba yung range na yan. Okay? Now, a question I often get asked or a question I often see is kung bumaba nga tong DMC, saan maganda mag-abang para sumalo? And the honest answer to that is kailangan nating hintayin na mangyari muna siya para makita natin kung ano yung structure na magde-develop before we decide whether or not we want to jump back in. Kasi hanggang hindi natin nakikita yon, all we're actually doing is trying to lock into buying sa support or buying sa previous resistance and hoping that it holds. So para sa akin, lalo na given current market conditions, yes, it's good kung meron kayong mga value areas na gustong pag-abangan, but maybe don't pull the trigger agad-agad. Wait for some type of structure on confirmation to develop before you decide whether or not you want to enter into a new position or perhaps even add into an older position dito sa DMC. Next, pag-usapan po natin yung KEEPR. Now, itong KEEPR, kung titingnan po natin from the get-go, okay, yung high, low, lower high, diba? Lower low, lower high, lower low. Patuloy pa rin yung downtrend natin, diba? Textbook pa rin siya. So, first and foremost, before we do any type of analysis, konting ingat pa rin po kasi we're still gonna be fighting the trend in case you are intending to trade this. Okay? Next observation is we have found support dito sa 1.02, just slightly shy of yung psychological level of piso. And then nakahanap naman tayo ng resistance dito sa 1.13. So that means para sa akin, price is currently ranging between these two prices with a middle point of around 1.08. Okay? Which makes it slightly hard to trade kasi kung kunwari bumaksak to tapos mag-hold yung 1.02, mag-aalala ako na even if it bounces, baka mauntog lang tayo sa 1.08. On the flip side, kunwari mag-hold yung 1.08, hindi rin ako willing bumili kasi yung next na untog niya nandyan lang at 1.13. Okay? So it's a little bit tricky, but that is yung range. Siguro kung kunwari from here, we see some type of trap form dito around 1.02 or piso na levels, then we can rediscuss tong KEEPR for a potential quick trade. But for now, lalo na to, RSI also beneath 50, we need to be a little wary, no? Konting ingat lang. Now, if we can come up and take out 1.13, yung next level of resistance po natin will be at 1.18 followed by 1.26. And then at that juncture, I'd be thinking na, uy, teka, mukhang bumabalik tayo dito sa wider range na to. Kasi right now, I'm being a bit pessimistic given yung lower highs and lower lows natin. However, if we do start pushing higher, I would be thinking na, uy, teka, bumabalik ba tayo sa wider range na to? And if so, that could be an intriguing range. If that happens, I'll make sure na babalikan at titignan po natin ulit tong KEEPR para sama-sama po natin siyang mababantayan and sama-sama po tayong matututo what happens next with regards that structure. Next, tignan naman po natin yung SM, no? Now, itong SM, I'm starting zoomed out just to show you na overall, structurally, downtrend pa din tayo. Ito yung previous high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and so on, no? We can make minor adjustments to where we put them, but I think we can all agree na yung overall flow niya is still pababa. Now, let me zoom in para mas clear lang po yung usapan natin. Now, pataas yung price natin lately, but so far, what we've been forming is some type of bear channel or wedge or kung ano man yung gusto nyong tawag sa ganito, no? We have been pushing higher sa loob ng isang tightening na range, pero papunta tayo dito sa area of previous support. Now, when we hit that area, nagkaroon tayo ng konting reaction. If we can break above 830, then I think what happens next is we might range dito sa area na to, similar sa nangyari sa consolidation dito. Same area, more or less. Bakit? Kasi if we're able to break higher, yung mga naipit dito from before might decide na, okay, sige, pwede na to, lalabas na ako, makalabas lang ng buhay. Yung mga nakabili dito sa pinakababa might decide na, uy, sige, pwede na to. Okay na yung kinita ko dyan, nauntog na tayo sa resistance, I'm out. Okay? So, because of all of that and more, then the possibility exists na baka mag-range muna tayo dyan as the market decides what to do next. Now, kung kunwari naman mauntog tayo dito and we actually break beneath yung channel natin, what we might be looking at is baka balikan ng price yung mga support levels na iniwan niya dito. Now, I understand na marami akong drinowing na guhit, diba? But the key support level para sa akin dito will be 720. If we break beneath the channel, the likelihood is we revisit yung 720 natin na support. If that support holds, then maybe ito muna yung range natin moving forward. If it breaks, then medyo malalim-lalim na yung huhukayan natin. Okay? Maaaring balikan natin itong area na to, or perhaps even all the way down dito sa 600 peso na level, or wag naman sana dito sa naging pandemic low. Okay? But for now, we need to be careful na kung sakali mang mangyari yung pababa na yon, ay hindi tayo madamay. So we want to make sure na before we get into any type of trade dito sa SM, meron tayong confirmation at the very least na nag-iiba na yung overall trend. And that means na sana mabasag man lang natin to the upside etong high na nag-form dito sa previous na lower high natin. If we can break that area, then maybe that's a sign na, uy, teka, may nag-iiba na sa structure. And we need to start looking and paying more attention na baka yun na yung early signs na we are willing or we are ready to push higher from there. Next, pag-usapan naman po natin tong SCC. Now, tong SCC, similar sa nangyari sa DMC, nagkaroon tayo ng gap to the downside and we've continued to break beneath one level of support after another. Where price is now is bumalik tayo sa range na to between 32.6 hanggang 36.05. If price comes down and mag-hold yung 32.6, that might be interesting as it might provide a trade na somewhere from mga 32.6 pabalik hanggang mga 36.05, which for me at least, it's not that shabby na. It's not bad. Diba? But whether or not na mag-materialize nga talaga yung ganong trade remains to be seen. After all, pwede namang diretso lang niyang basagin tong 32.6, and if that happens, yung next level of support natin will be here na around 30 pesos, followed by these lows around 27. Now, if price can rally naman from here, and we can start trading above 38 ulit, then the possibility exists na ma-fill natin tong gap na naiwan natin. Okay? But I wouldn't be buying from where we are now in the hopes na bumalik siya para i-fill yung gap na to. After all, we should only care about gaps if the direction of price is headed towards that gap. If we're heading away, diba, madalas mahilig tayo na kunyari may gap, nag-breakout, bibili tayo kasi the expectation is magpapatuloy siya to the downside or to the upside. Dapat ganun din yung focus natin dito. Diba? Na since nagkaroon tayo ng breakdown, ang una nating iniisip is magpapatuloy siya to the downside direction. So, just be very careful in case you're thinking na, hindi, sige, buy na ako dito kasi kapag nag-fill yung gap, 10%, 15% na yan. Okay? Now, one of the reasons why I think DMC and now SCC ay nare-request kasi a lot of people are thinking na, so saan ako dapat maghintay? Saan ako dapat bumili? Okay? Saang area ako dapat mag-abang para pumulot nitong SCC? And my answer will be the same as nung sinabi ko sa DMC. We're gonna have to wait. Kasi hanggang hindi nagde-develop ang bagong structure, it's really hard to say what's going to happen next. Now, I know it seems very sexy, it seems very quote-unquote genius to buy at our favorite MAs or our favorite Kumo or what have you. But the fact of the matter is, yung mga MAs na yan, sinusupport sila ng structure, not the other way around. Okay? Meaning, kaya sila nagde-develop, the reason why they are where they are is because price moved in a certain way, forming a specific type of structure. Diba? Kasi yung moving averages or mga Kumo, they are formed based on how price moved over a certain period of time. Diba? So, konting ingat lang when you want to use them as dynamic support. I am not saying na hindi sila mag-hold. I am saying na even if gumagamit tayo ng mga favorite natin na indicators, we need to be careful and wait for some type of confirmation before jumping in. Don't base our decisions solely on a line on a chart. Don't base our decisions solely on a moving average or a Kumo or the RSI and what have you. Tignan pa rin natin ano ba talaga ang nangyayari sa overall structure ng chart na yon, and then we come to a smart and educated decision on why we want to enter at a certain level. Tapos, alam natin saan yung invalidation ng level na yon, alam natin saan yung invalidation ng trade na yon, alam natin saan yung mga potential targets natin, and so on. Wag lang natin iasa na, hindi, sige, mukhang tataas na eh. Okay? Let's plan it out properly. And since DMC and SCC are in such high demand, I am sure na titignan at titignan natin to. And if something changes, if structure changes, and if something interesting comes up, I'll be sure to discuss it with all of you moving forward. And then finally, tignan po natin yung BDO. Now, tong BDO price has climbed back up, and we've tagged this area of supply na naiwan natin before, no? Now, if price can come up and break above this white zone and break above 131.5, I think that opens up this range here, and we might see price trade between 131.5 hanggang 137.5. Ang ayaw nating makita is mauntog yung price dito sa supply, mag-react, and we start falling. Once that happens and we break beneath tong 118 na level, di ba? Meron tayong area dito. Once that breaks, then maybe it comes back, test underneath, pushes lower, If that happens, I think what happens is babalikan natin tong support at 109.3, no? Kasi at that point, we would have broken beneath tong swing low. We would have tested it from underneath. We would have seen it hold. And then we would see price break beneath yung bagong swing low. So, meron tayong confirmation na from there, baka ma-revisit natin tong support na these candles here fell a little bit shy of touching. Okay? Now, kung kunwari naman from there, mabasag pa natin tong 109.3, then we might revisit na tong mga swing lows na naiwan natin from before. But we'll rediscuss this then should that happen. Diba? The flip side is kung nag-move naman tayo higher, breaking above this supply zone, breaking above these resistances, breaking above 137.5, then we might come back and tag tong naiwan na high around 140. And once we break that, then the likelihood is we come back and fill this gap na naiwan from before around 147, 146.5. Okay? But for now, yung price ng BDO nasa alanganin. Kumbaga, it's right at resistance. So I wouldn't be thinking about jumping in right where we are. Kasi nga, nauntog na siya eh. 'Di ba? Baka yan na yung top tapos bibilihin ko tapos we start pushing to the downside. So I would rather wait and see how price develops. Kung mabasag tayo to the upside, then I know what to do. Kung mabasag tayo to the downside, then I know what to do. But where we are, well, actually, we also know what to do. Iwas-iwas muna. Dapat naman talaga, 'di ba? Don't buy at resistance. Now, before we go, in case you guys were wondering kung paano mabilis palakihin ang mga trading accounts nyo, be sure to check out this video here. It should be coming out somewhere in your screen, probably on the lower left-hand side, where we discuss the quickest way to grow your accounts. And that's it, guys, no? GT, over and out.